Hey everyone, here's my colon model. I've assigned different materials to each part and created some shader variations. With the setup complete, I can now quickly switch between shaders using a menu. Okay, let's get started with the tutorial. This colon model has two materials, and each material includes three shader variations. The first one is the regular shader. The second one is a mix shader, where I combine the feces textures with the regular shader. And the third one is a hemorrhage shader. To switch between these shaders, we'll need to create our own shader group node. First, press Shift A and add a new group. Set the name to shader group. Then double-click to enter the node. Select the group output, add a new output, then rename it to shader output, and set the type to shader. For the group input, I've prepared three shaders, so we'll add three shader inputs here. Regular, regular plus feces, and hemorrhage. We also need a value to control which shader we want to switch to. Add one more input and set its type to float. Now press Shift A, add a mix shader, clamp node, and math node. Then select the math node and set it to subtract. Connect the nodes like this and set the subtract value to 0. Select and duplicate the nodes. Set the new subtract value to 1 and reconnect them. With this setup, each shader input is assigned a value. By changing the value input, we can switch to the shader we want. If you have more shader input here, just duplicate the nodes and increase the subtract value and connect again. Now press Tab to go back to the shader editor. Connect our shader to the shader input slot, then link it to the material output. You can see that when the value is set to 0, it uses the regular shader. When you change it to 1, it switches to the next shader. And when you set the value to 2, it switches to the hemorrhage shader. This method lets us choose which shader we want to use. Now, let's create a menu to control the value. Go to the Modifier tab and add a Geometry Nodes modifier. Then, open the Geometry Nodes editor. Press Shift A and add a menu switch node. The data type doesn't matter. Connect it to the group input and group output. And now you can switch between A and B in the modifier. In the menu, add one more item and rename all the items. Go back to the shader editor. Right-click the menu and choose Copy as New Driver. Then right-click the value and select Paste Driver. Now you can control the value using the menu and the shader updates automatically. Select the node group and copy it to the other materials. Then, reconnect the input and output. and right-click the value to choose Paste Driver. Now you can use the menu to switch the shader for the entire model. However, this method has a shortcoming. The value of the menu items depends on their sequence. Newer items get higher values, but if you delete an older item, the sequence values won't update. I don't know how to fix this. The only solution I've found is to create a new menu switch node and rebuild the menu list. If you know how to fix that or have a better solution, please tell me. And thanks for watching.